when the sacred winds had slept, a milder breeze arose. Sensuous feelings genuflect. Fatigue now indisposed. Still gentle they may speculate on fears the night might hold. Right now we bask and gravitate to nature's soothing tone. Now if nature reigns preeminent, then what do morals do but form the psychic regiment, enhancing tangible views? Now if morals prove the detriment of cruel, unbelieving fools, then God, I'm sure, is evident in crowns where there are no jewels. A warm and sincere welcome to all viewers. I am Colin, St. Ledger Lewis, and this is a synopsis of poetry with a difference. What's the difference? Well, the intensity, the emotions, the feelings that can be drawn from an oral presentation, these cannot be that easily gleaned from the written word. And by the written word, I mean poetry printed in books, in your newspapers, or in magazines. In an oral presentation, the poet can articulate, regulate, or moderate his views, voice, or tone for the desired effect, which is to reciprocate these same feelings and emotions with his audience. In an oral delivery, the poet can lower or raise his voice for emphasis. He can add intensity to each line or word. Another difference of this poetry is its diversity. A wide cross-section of subject areas are dissected in verse. Poetry that speaks on religion, on wars, ethnicity, race, poverty, wealth. Poetry that speaks of nature, citing its splendor and wonders. Poetry that speaks of nature as it is affected by man, his denigration of the same. Poetry that speaks on those abstract entities, love, prosperity, trust, respect, courage. Poetry that speaks of family, friends, all of these. Without further ado, here are a few. The first of which is Spring Flower. Winter loses the spring in its step towards summer, while fall only fell when past was its hour. So seems the trend set by man's eager endeavors. Progress without end, the price of being clever. So they're silly seasons. But how silly are these? Another summer for no reason, while winter fails to freeze. Gases and emissions, volumes in the millions. Losses, but no petitions. Sensational seasonal collisions. Winter loses its sting, while spring fails to flower. Is it nature being king, or is it man's pestilent power? Now, if every poet were a prophet, then what would prophecy be? But of little profit to those who hear it. There is no such decree. Prophecies in time are akin to an age that had already set the stage. Prophets likewise were under the eyes of a particular epoch in time. If not the sublime, then they were the kind that inspiration could always find. Prognostics, not prophets, though masterful poets. Clairvoyance has no part in prayer. So toxic the concept that evil has magic. It's tragic for people that deal. My next poem is called Progress, the Process of Progress. It's a more complex version of the poem called Spring Flower. And it says, progress proves an impediment to progress's own path. This prognosis evident, nature suffering man's onslaught. Progress does some problem pose, yet its prowess seems all unsure. Its ill effects, residual woes, by neglect, they'll not disclose. The poignant pillaging of continents render resources ruined and extinct. Potential cures as a consequence teeter over preservation's brink. Moderation bears no sentiment to matters made mundane. There's burgeoning bureaucratic sediment of pollution, perplexity, and pain. Progress, although evident, is evidence of the harm. Man in his relentless element reeks on the world he warms. Protest sets no precedent. This process seems outworn, possessing a sense of penitence, does little to victims warn of progress's pernicious benevolence, of its septic charm. Now who will cure impotence to progress's cryptic form? Only moderation's permanence by a collective political will can end this ambivalence of progress doing good or ill. With technology's advent, progress expedited at a cost, but it is technology's strength that will quantify its damage or loss. My next poem is called Gold Rush. It's a tribute to Jamaica's exploits at the 2008 Beijing Olympics.